Hi everyone, welcome to the second week of building stupid simple workflows. Last week we spoke about competitors, but this week we'll talk about leveraging our warm network to create a revenue engine out of it. Now, there are a ton of different ways in which you can leverage your network, but we'll talk about a few in this video and a few in the next video. When we try to leverage our warm network, there is actually a spectrum in that warm network. There are some people who are very warm to some people who are not so this week we'll talk about the slightly lukewarm side of it, but the ones we'll talk about in the next episode is kind of leveraging things like your alumnus, like the college or the university you've been to. People there tend to be fairly warmer because you have that common bond. Also, companies that you've been a part of, again, a place where you've probably formed bonds with people, and either find other people who can introduce you with the people who have been a part of those companies, or you probably know them, right? So whenever they're moving out of, or they've at some point of time worked in these companies, that becomes a good connection to kind of reach out to. Those are the, what I would say, very warm kind of spectrum. But when we look at slightly lukewarm kind of a spectrum, which is a larger audience, here are the three use cases I chose. And in our episodes or in our videos of stupid simple workflows, I only talk about workflows that you can complete in 2, 3, or at max 4 steps, right? So these are all different use cases, but these are very simple. So for the first use case, I'm typically looking at everyone who has visited my profile. These people know who I am, know the context about what I do, about probably about the product that I'm working on, right? So are fairly warm people, and if they lie in our IC, then they become a gold mine, right? So what I do is I have a scheduler node which can run every day or every week, depending on the volume of profile visitors you have. And then you just put in this one node which gets you profile visitors. It's called get profile visitors. And you just select your Edges account. This is one of our Edges is one of our partners, which helps you automate any kind of LinkedIn action on any workflow. So I select my Edges account, which is mine. I can select a limit up any of these that work for you. You would want to select the average of visitors you typically get every day. Now, one strange thing you might find is, although I've selected like a limit of up to 100, I only will get around 75 odd people. This is because LinkedIn de-anonymizes or anonymizes people who have premium accounts. So even if, for example, I have a premium account, and if I visit any of your profiles, you will not be able to see. You'll probably at max see someone from NREV has visited your profile. So that being said, you have all the people here who have visited my profile, the last 100 people. You even get exactly the timestamp or the date on which they've visited, whether they are a first degree or a second degree connection. What I like to do with these people is typically like to keep them even a little more warm, especially the second degree connections. You can filter out the second degree connections and probably visit their profile in return, like a few posts of theirs. And these are simple nodes, like visiting a profile or liking a post are simple nodes on NREF. You can just visit their profile, like their nodes, and then once you see there's a good bit of rapport, you can reach out to them to sell. If they're not in your ICP, even then you typically want to engage with people once in a while so that they then start getting your content on their feed more often than they would get otherwise, right? So those are the two small use cases you might want to fulfill out of this simple workflow. The second is getting posts, the people who have engaged with my content, right? This could be my content as well as this could be my company's content, NREV's content. So I could just enter my name along with NREV's name here as well. Right now it's just my profile that we're kind of looking at, and typically I would of course look at NREV. And once I have these names, and there could be your co-founders, all your teammates for that matter, right? I just have a simple node called get posts by a person. I can fetch up to the last 50 posts by anyone. And once I have the post, now one important thing that comes along with the post is the count of engagement that you have. Now, not all posts might be important. Typically, I look for posts that have at least 20 people reacting to my posts. And then I start looking at, who these people are, because otherwise it's mostly your inner circle of people who engage with your posts. Once you have more than that, you can just filter that out. And then there are just these nodes for get post comments and get post reactors, right? And once we have the get post comments, for example, now I've run this for my important posts. And once I have this, now I actually get the profiles of the person, the headlines of the person. So I see, of course, I have reacted, commented on, or replied to certain comments that were there on my post. But there was Sachin Jha, there was Prithvi Gaurav Chakravarti, etc. And you will also kind of get their headlines so that you can directly filter here for the kind of ICP that you're looking at. The third important part is where you would want to see who has tagged your company in any of their posts, right? You would want to monitor that very, very closely, right? Because people who have tagged your company and then the commenters and reactors of those posts become even more important because they have actually shown some kind of intent and have the knowledge about your company or the product that you're selling. So again, a simple set of four nodes. I start with, of course, my company LinkedIn URL. Then typically what I do, and I'll build this out with you. So instead of domain, let's put in LinkedIn URL, and I'll actually put in, let me just copy our NREV's LinkedIn URL. There we go. I'll paste it here. And yeah, I'll just run this as soon as it is updated. Perfect. Once it is updated, when we run it, what we do get is a company ID. Now, LinkedIn posts typically when they tag your company, it is tagged to that LinkedIn ID, the company ID of NREF, right? So I need to find that company ID. And now you will find this node called Search LinkedIn Post Advanced, because instead of just looking at LinkedIn search as their post search, here we can also mention the company ID that we found, which ensures that every post that you find has tagged that company that you're looking to target. Once we have that, then it's just simple, right? What we did here, just get the post URN, and which is available, of course, as you get the data here. And if you notice here, there are a number of people who have tagged NREV in the past 1 week. I get all those posts, and then I can just get in here and get the commenters and the reactors to those posts. In fact, very recently we did this at where there were approximately about 10 people who had tagged NREV in the past week. We got all the commenters, and then we kind of at least set up a connection with them. And this was all automated, and just sent out a curious message saying that you engaged with a post where NREV was tagged. If there's any use case I could help you out with, I'd be happy to get on a call and do so. So those are the three very, very short, cute use cases which you can use to a huge benefit of yours, right? All right, that's it for today, and I'll meet you next week.